What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be taking a look at the list of characters that you can now get with the blue Gacha coins here. So this is like the first time that they've ever actually done this. Typically, the blue coins were reserved for the 50% supports and then just Elder Kais. Those are the only things you've ever been able to purchase with them. But now they have actually added some of the heroes units to it. These are from like the original set of Heroes characters that have since gotten their EZAs. I believe they got their EZAs last year during the Hero Celebration. So you can pick through any of these units. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense because all of the Dragon Ball Heroes banners give you blue coins anyway. So I guess it makes sense that they offer these units here. So we're going to switch over to the website here and take a look at all of these characters. And I will let you guys know which ones I think are maybe worth it to get your coins with, and which ones maybe not so much. Okay, so we're going to start out here with the Super Saiyan 3 Adult Gotenks. Now, keep in mind that all of these units do have their EZAs available, so we're going to be looking at them fully Extreme Z Awakened. Before their EZAs, I don't think any of them are really worth using, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so Adult Gotenks here. So he's going to start out with, I think they all pretty much have fodder leader skills, so that's not too much to worry about. But he causes supreme damage to enemy and raises attack and defense for 6 turns. That is pretty good, raising attack and defense for 6 turns, because if you keep him on rotation, he's going to be able to stack this 3 times before the previous stack falls off there. So he's got 100% stats at the start of turn. He gets an additional 100% attack when performing a super. That is a lot of additional attack to get on super. That's going to help him hit quite hard, especially with the attack raise in his super attack effect. And then he's getting an additional up to 3 ki and up to 30% attack and defense with each super attack performed. So that's a nice little buff there too, a little bit of extra stats adding to his passive. And then he's got a high chance of launching an additional super attack for 5 turns from the start of turn. So, if he starts out on turn 1, then he's going to be stacking so much. This guy turns into a defensive monster because he's got the super attack here, and then he has a high chance of launching an additional one here, and you could potentially, with both of those attacks proccing, get his hidden potential system super attack too. So he could get 3 super attacks for the first 3 turns that he's on rotation if he starts out on turn 1. And with getting these attack and defense raises there, he's going to be looking at some insane numbers. And if you check out, his defense is obviously a little bit low just because he has the potential to stack so much in here. But with everything in there, he's still going to be upwards of like 400k, maybe into 500k defense. And I've never really used him on a 200% team either. So I imagine with the new 200% Dragon Ball Heroes leaders, he's going to be even more insane. So definitely one of the better choices here would be the Adult Gotenks for sure. He's also on quite a few relevant categories that are going to be really, really, useful. So this guy is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Alright, so moving on, we've got the Super Saiyan 3 Gohan here. So again, a nothing leader skill. He causes supreme damage to enemy. He's going to seal super attack and raise attack for 9 turns. So that's nice. He doesn't get any defense raises on super, which is unfortunate, but he does, he does raise attack for 9 turns, which is a little bit longer. So that can definitely help him stack up for sure. So he's got Ki 2 and attack and defense 120% at the start of turn, and then he gets an additional attack and defense 70% when performing a super. So the difference here is that he gets defense on super. That is nice because the Adult Gotenks doesn't have that. And then he gets an additional 30% stats with 3 or more Ki Spheres obtained. He gets a medium chance to crit with 5 or more Ki Spheres obtained, and then he reduces damage received by 30% with 7 or more Ki Spheres obtained. So now, I would say the only time that this guy is even going to be remotely impressive or useful at all is if you're getting 7 or more Ki Spheres. He needs this damage reduction right here. He just does not have enough defense with like having no defense raise on his super attack effect. He just does not have the defense to tank nowadays, like the tough bosses and stuff. So he's going to absolutely need this 30% damage reduction there. So if you've got him in a build where he's able to get the 7 orbs, then he might be decent. Other than that, I'd say this guy is pretty lackluster, especially because he doesn't produce the orbs himself. So you're going to probably need to run him with another orb changer, and I don't know that you have a really decent option for that. I guess it really depends what category you're trying to bring him in on. That you might, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Without these 7 orbs, he is going to flop hard for you. Okay, so then we got the Super Saiyan 3 Trunks. This guy is really, really good. So, fodder leader skill, but he causes supreme damage to enemy and raises attack and defense by 30% for 9 turns. That is really, really solid. If you keep him on rotation, he is going to be stacking like crazy, because check this out too. He's got 120% stats at the start of turn, disables enemies guard, which just means if he attacks a tech enemy, he's not going to do less damage. And then he has a high chance of guarding all attacks. This is the main important part of his kit. If that guard procs, he can be a defensive monster for you. There is some RNG involved because he only has a 50% chance to proc that. And, it's a 50% chance each turn. So if he's, if you put him in the way of like 6 attacks and he guards the first attack, he's going to guard all of the attacks for that turn. And then, like, same thing, if he doesn't guard the first attack, he's not going to guard at all for that turn. And then he's got an additional 30% attack within the same turn when guard is activated. So if you put him slot 1 and he gets hit and the guard activates before he supers, then he'll get some additional attack on his super. And then he gets an additional attack 12% with each attack received, up to 60, and an additional 12 with each attack performed, up to 60. So after a few turns with getting these stat raises and all of these stat raises, his attack power starts to look pretty decent. And then if the guard procs, he is really, really solid defensively. The other thing to note is because of that guard chance, he is one of the strongest defensive Trunkses in the game right now. So running him on a Vegeta's family team with Majin Vegeta and using him as the Trunks unit that allows Majin Vegeta to get his full passive is a very good idea. So if you're struggling to build teams for your Majin Vegeta, if you have him and you need a really strong Trunks, this is a good option to get. You do also want to keep in mind that in, a week and a half here, we are going to be getting the LR Vegeta in Trunks, and that will outshine this Trunks tenfold. So if you plan on going for that guy, then this guy might not be as useful for you. That is the main place that I've ended up using this guy, is on the Majin Vegeta's 200% team. So definitely a decent unit. Would not be a waste of your coins, I think. Okay, so then we've got Pike on here. He's got all types, 80% fodder leader skill there. He raises attack and defense infinitely, which is nice. And then he causes supreme damage and greatly lowers the enemy's attack. He's going to have key 3 and attack and defense 120% at the start of turn. He launches an additional attack that has a 50% high chance of becoming a super when you're facing one enemy. And then he launches an additional that has a great chance, so a 70% chance to become a super when facing 2 or more enemies. He has an additional attack and defense 60% when the target enemy is in attack down status. So I'm trying to figure out where's the best place that you could even use this guy. His kit has potential for sure with the infinite stacking here, with the attack lowering, and then with these potential chances for additionals. Having the additionals built into his passive is really solid because he has the infinite stacking. But the problem is, part of his passive here that gives him extra stats is based on being able to lower the enemy's attack. And most of the hardest content in the game locks that kind of ability. You can't lower the enemy's attack anyway, so most of the time you're not going to be able to see him getting this, especially because he has the infinite raising, so you're going to want to bring him into long form events. He's not going to perform that well in something like Super Battle Road, where you can apply these attack lowering status effects, because his attack and defense are going to keep resetting at the beginning of every turn. So he's going to be much better in long-form events, like the Legendary Goku event, or some of the longer Red Zone stages, but they all block attack lowering. So this guy is a little bit wonky. There really isn't a solid place to use this guy. I would say he's one of the worst choices, for sure. And then also, if you glance at his categories, he isn't on really anything relevant. And his link skills are, well, Tough as Nails is pretty good. Experienced Fighter is decent. Yeah, he just really doesn't have the best leader or the best skills. Yeah, gentlemen. there's basically no units that have that. This is like an unusable Link skill. Yeah, so this guy is pretty much a pass, I would say. Okay, so then we've got the Bobbity Boo here. Again, fodder leader skill, but he greatly raises defense for 1 turn on his super attack effect. He is going to cause supreme damage with a high chance, a 50% chance to stun the enemy. A very, very solid super attack here. He has 120% stats at the start of turn. He's getting an additional attack and attack 100%, all allies defense percent when HP is 81% or more, and then it switches to defense 80 or defense 100% and all allies key 3 and attack 50% when HP is 80% or less, and then he recovers 8% HP. I believe that is going to be at the start of turn, or is that end of turn? It doesn't really specify. That's actually interesting. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but it's either going to be start of turn or... I want to say it's start of turn. Yeah, he's going to get that HP recovery at the start of turn. So, if you are at the point where you have really high HP, then I would say this guy works well as a floater, because he's going to be getting the great defense raises for himself. He's got the high chance to stun the enemy. So, you know, I would say this guy's pretty good for Super Battle Road, especially. So if you're in that last slot there, then you can make the rest of your allies attack any other units that may be attacking him, and then with the great defense raise and potentially stunning one of the enemies that could be detrimental to him, you know, that's like attacking him, then he could be pretty solid defensively. And then if your HP ends up getting low and he gives all this extra defense to himself, plus the great defense raise on super, then you can definitely keep him on rotation, and he's going to be tanking pretty well for you. So yeah, this guy can be pretty solid. He's got some decent links too, including Metamorphosis, which is really nice. I have actually used this guy on a few of the Super Battle Road stages that have come out recently, Artificial Lifeforms being one of them, and power absorption as well. So yeah, this guy definitely has some potential. He can be run on teams for sure. Okay, so now we've got Baby Janemba here. Again, fodder leader skill, but he's going to be raising attack for 1 turn, causing supreme damage to enemy and massively lowering defense. So this isn't too good of a super attack effect. Lowering defense doesn't really do much to enemies nowadays, and then only raising the attack for 1 turn, and it's a regular raise that's like a 25% raise, is not that much. Especially because this guy is not like the strongest attacker ever. So yeah, his super attack is not the greatest. But he recovers 12% HP and has 120% stats at the start of turn, which is nice. He has a high chance of evading, which is the main point of his kit here, is going to be the dodging that he can provide. So he's got 50% chance to dodge out the gate, and then he gets an additional 12% chance to dodge with each attack evaded within the same turn. So he has a 50% chance to dodge the first attack. If he dodges that first attack, he now has a 62% chance to dodge the second one, 74% chance on the third one, and so on. So this guy is actually a really, really solid unit to put in the way of attacks if you want to try to evade. So he is really solid for Super Battle Road. Definitely could be taken into the Cell Max event because he has the potential to not get hit by anything, right? And then he gets an additional attack and defense 120% when performing a super attack if your HP is 60% or above. So that is just a nice little bonus that allows him to do some damage for sure, because without this he would definitely be hitting super weak. So yeah, with the HP recovery that he provides and all of the evasion that he can do, this guy is a really, really solid option to have on your teams. He also has the Metamorphosis link here as well, so he's going to get some additional healing from that. And he is on some solid categories, Transformation Boost and Terrifying Conquerors being the peak of them. Okay, so last but not least, we have Darkness Toa here. So she, again, has a fodder leader skill, but we've got supreme damage to enemy and greatly lowers attack and defense on super, so that's pretty nice. She's got 100% stats at the start of turn. She gets an additional 100% when there's a super class enemy, and then only 80% defense when there's an extreme class enemy. But keep in mind, if you're in a fight with multiple enemies, you could potentially have one of each, and then she could get all of these. I'm actually curious if there is like a Super Battle Road stage where you're facing off against super type and extreme type enemies within the same battle. I might have to look into that and see if there is some potential for her to be used in one of those stages. But then she's giving extreme class allies key 3 attack and defense 40%, so that is a really, really strong support ability that she has there. And then extreme class allies get attack and defense 60%, and she recovers 100% HP when HP is 30% or less once only. So that makes her a really, really solid Super Battle Road unit. Because she gets the greatly lowering attack and defense, you're going to want to use her in a place where the enemies can be debuffed, so Super Battle Road is the perfect place for that. And then also having this portion here where she gets the full heal if you end up going below 30% HP, that is going to help you out a ton. So she is going to be really, really solid in some Super Battle Road stages. Any of these categories that you see down here, she will be phenomenal in. But other than that, I don't think she has much use in like the rest of the game. Okay, so that being said, let's go and take a look back through these units really quickly here, and just see which ones I would say you should go for and should not go for. So I would say your top 2 options here are definitely going to be the Super Saiyan 3 Adult Gotenks. He provides a lot of defense and a lot of attack, combined, so he's going to be really useful, and he's on some good categories. And then I would say the Baby Janemba is probably the strongest defensive unit of all of them. And then maybe coming in 3rd place would be like the Babidi Boo here, because he does have some really good potential on the Super Battle Road stages. Any of the other ones I think would probably not be the best. This Trunks could be. If you're not planning on summoning for Vegeta and Trunks, then this Trunks can be a good idea for you. But yeah, any of the rest of them I would say are probably going to be a miss for you. So going back into the game here, you have to keep in mind that 300 coins is quite a bit. I have 1,000 coins here, so I may pick up a dupe or two for some of these units. But I know most people aren't going to have nearly this many blue coins, because blue coin units are really, really, like, blue coin banners are really uncommon, and people generally don't summon on them because they're not like the most top tier banners. So if you only have like 300 coins, I would say maybe just hang on to them. I don't know that any of these units are going to be game breaking enough for you to spend all of your coins on them. But if you have plenty and you can definitely spare some, then picking up 1 or 2 of these could be a good idea. Keep in mind that at some point in the future, the 50% support units are going to return, and I imagine that they'll get easy A's at some point. They've pretty much aged out of the meta right now because, it's just been so long since they got their awakenings. They can't keep up defensively or anything anymore. But once they get their easy A's, I imagine that they're going to be meta-relevant units again, and they will be available with these blue coins. So if you don't have those units, it might be smart to think towards the future and hang on to all of your coins for that. The other thing to consider is that now that they've added the Dragon Ball Heroes units to this, there is no limits to what they could do. They just recently added the Carnival coins for the Carnival LR banners. So maybe they're planning on doing more with these blue coins. Maybe we will see more random banner units available with the blue coins as well. Like, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? This is only the beginning, so don't be too hasty in blowing all of your currency. You may need to hang on to them for the future. But that being said, at this point, I don't think it's worth it to pick up Elder Kais with the blue coins. I think you should definitely get Elder Kais in different ways and save your blue coins for units, because it seems like this is going to be a thing from now on. So hopefully you guys found this guide helpful. If you were unsure about whether to spend your coins or who to spend them on, hopefully you know now. Let me know in the comments below who you guys are deciding to use your blue coins on, if you are going to use them. And if you found this helpful, then consider being a part of the Toxic Tribe with a like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And that is going to do it for this one. I will catch you guys next time. Peace!